You guys are better than last year's audience. Don't tell them, though. It's the same audience, it says. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much. You're full of response and enthusiasm. I am John Joyner, the chair of the MLK Planning Committee, and we are so delighted to have a full house because we have one of the august public servants in the country with us this evening. Before we get going, at the Multicultural Center, which is the planning unit of Dr. King's PSU tributes, we have a little tradition, so we do it every year. So indulge us for a minute. A person sitting next to you, or to your left, to your right, behind, we want you to, on the count of three, not two, to get up and say hi to them, give them a high five, low five, a hug or something. Not your friend that you came with, don't cheat, not your friend. 1, 2, 3, let's do it. Graham. Thank you. You all are good sports. I really, really like that. This was the best. Last year's, I'm not so sure. But you guys were great. Thank you for indulging us. You're good sports. At this moment, please help me welcome Portland State's dynamic new president, Dr. Wim Wiewel. Wim?
Well, John sets a very high bar. I have the feeling I'm sandwiched between some superb speakers here this evening. So I'm just not even going to try. I'm just going to be very low-key and simple, straightforward, the way I always am. I really want to thank John and the committee and the Multicultural Center for organizing this tremendous event. And of course, I thank Ambassador Young for being here with us. What a week. What a week this has been. I first came to this country just a little over 40 years ago, in August 1968, just a few months after Dr. King and after Robert Kennedy were assassinated. I came to a country that was mired in Vietnam, that had lost its way, its faith, its self-confidence. And to be here now and see, on the one hand, a country that is mired in a war, that seems to have lost its way, but that yet comes back so resoundingly, so strongly, with such a sense of hope and glory and excitement and change. This is really what draws people like me and immigrants from all over the world to this country, to come here, to live here, and to love it. Now, thinking about Dr. King and thinking about people like Ambassador Young, we have to get serious for a minute and think about what substantively they stand for, not just what emotionally and politically they stand for, because this was about real substance, this was about real change. It wasn't just about making us feel good with highfalutin rhetoric, which they were very good at, but that's only a part of what we're about. So if we're asked why diversity and inclusion, the things that Dr. King talked about, why they matter to higher education, we have to talk about several aspects. We got to talk about civil rights, first of all, of course, the passion that Dr. King brought to that issue. The civil rights that he talked about in the 50s and the 60s, but that still are with us as an issue today. In spite of all the progress that has been made, we know that there are still too many instances of exclusion, too many instances of disadvantage, that we have not solved the problems, we have just begun to address them. Civil rights were, of course, codified in part in affirmative action, equal opportunity, measures which point to the central importance of our court system, the rule of law, and the importance of government that supports diversity and inclusion as goals of public policy. Now, we must also recognize that this concept of diversity and inclusion has been expanded. We've expanded the terms of the debate in the last 40 years. First, not just inclusion of people of color and racial minorities, the expansion of the movement to women, to gays, lesbians, bisexual, and transgender people, an area in which Portland, of course, has been a leader for the nation. And now to an even broader perspective, the recognition of the need for economic justice and the problems of economic exclusion, recognizing the impact of power and privilege on access and inclusion in education. And then it goes even further, that thinking about the research that was used in the University of Michigan cases, we're likely to answer that diversity and inclusion is of educational value, not just of a moral value, not just of an economic value, but of educational value. The diverse groups come up with more solutions and more creative solutions than non-diverse groups do. And that a diverse student body and a diverse faculty is a tremendously important resource in our classrooms and for the education of our students. It's for those reasons that I've begun to talk about that we should move beyond stating diversity and inclusions as one of our institutional goals, but instead see them as fundamental aspects of every aspiration we have as an institution. Many of you know that we've talked about the aspirations of this institution in terms of 5 themes. Civic leadership through partnerships. How can you be a civic leader if you do not do it by partnering with the whole diversity that we have in the region? The second theme, improving student success. How can you be successful in that if you do not recognize the differences between different types of students, what they bring to the university, what they need to be successful? The third theme of enhancing educational opportunity. Well, if that is not about opening the doors and creating access for people who have not historically had it, it obviously has to be front and center. The fourth theme of expanding resources and improving effectiveness. We cannot provide access, we cannot know how to deal with diverse groups unless we're given the resources to deal with these challenges. But most of all, if they have to choose one of our themes where I feel the concept of diversity is really most important, it's the theme of achieving global excellence. Because I think truly diversity has to be a foundation for excellence at Portland State University. We must be aware of ourselves as global citizens, and we can only do that by true understanding. We have to understand that our problems are global, our chances of sustaining human life on our planet will be determined globally, our ability to communicate with each other is global, and our solutions to our problems must be global too. We realize that to come to these solutions, we're going to need all the insights, all the intelligence, and all the creativity that we as humanity collectively possess. So this realization brings together all of our perspectives on diversity. Equity under the law, the education of new leadership, and the passion for civil rights that was so brilliantly represented in the life of Dr. King. I want to end with a quote, which seems to me particularly appropriate, a quote from Dr. King. "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education." End quote. Now, when we think of our current and recent leaders, presidents of the country, mayors of our cities, whether Portland, Chicago, or Atlanta, we see the truth of that quote so sharply. It takes intelligence plus character. And I'm so pleased that in the speaker today, we have somebody who epitomizes that to me and to everybody here. Thank you very much for coming. I'm now turning it back to John.
Thank you, President Wivel. Since its launch barely a year ago, Think Out Loud on OPB Radio has become a prototype of broadcasting excellence in public affairs programming. Refreshing and content-rich, isn't it what we need these days? Emily Harris has been a producer-host of this program and has really taken it to new heights. She recently hosted an OUS Presidential Forum, Oregon University System, and also had a special hour for Dr. King on Monday. From Oregon Public Broadcasting, please help me welcome my pal, Emily Harris.
Thank you so much. Boy, if Dr. Wivel felt like the middle of a sandwich, I definitely do. So OPB is really proud to be part of this event and absolutely delighted to help welcome Ambassador Young to Portland. We're thrilled that you're here and thrilled that you have the opportunity for everyone to hear you speak tonight. We will hear him in just a few moments, and there's some great music and entertainment ahead of that. But just for a moment, I wanted to share with you some of the reflections on Dr. King's legacy that we heard from people in this community this week on our program Monday on Think Out Loud. It was clearly a historic week with the inauguration of President Obama. It was a time of potent symbolism and enormous expectations. On our program on Monday, Dr. Dalton Miller-Jones, the chair of PSU's Black Studies Department, was there and spoke. One of the things he said was that he was heartened by the holiday honoring Dr. King, this year in particular, because he said when he sees the unleashing of great aspiration with President Obama, he feels that that energy and hope of those who worked with Dr. King and others in the 60s has not disappeared. And when Dr. Miller-Jones spoke of the lessons of King's legacy, he said the first one is this: when any one of us is treated with injustice, bigotry, or prejudice, no one of us truly has liberty. Maria Rodriguez-Salazar was on our program as well. She's the president of the Clark County League of United Latin American Citizens. LULAC is the oldest national Hispanic civil rights organization. She works with children and families who are struggling with civil rights issues as well as cultural and economic issues. She said this: "I'm tired all the time. But you know what?" she said. "It's important. You'll always be tired of something," she said. And when she is tired, she keeps going by asking herself this: why not me? One other voice that stood out on the program was a mom, Fern Capella. She was part of our studio audience, and she told this story about her 8-year-old son. He is of mixed race, black and white. She's white, and he was telling her about some new friends at school, this and that, their names, what they were playing. She asked him a few questions, and she asked them about their race, asked her son about their race of her new friends. And then she said this: he just looked at me and goes, "Mom, race?" like it was the strangest question in the world to ask. That truly seemed like a great legacy of Dr. King. What she said after that was what she saw in the future. She said, the future is educating me. She's a late 20s, early 30s mom, educating me about the color blindness that our children see. On Think Out Loud, we try to ask a lot of questions about a lot of different things. For those of you who don't know, it's on OPB every morning at 9 and every evening at 9, and you can have a chance to call in during the 9 o'clock in the morning show and post online anytime at all. It's just one piece of OPB's commitment to be very much a part of this community, to be also a place where this community can reflect upon ourselves and a place where we can grow beyond the borders and the barriers that are among us, even as we share a geographical, physical space, the social, the cultural, the economic barriers. OPB strives to be a place where we can reach beyond those. And collaborating with PSU, and particularly the Multicultural Center, to present this event is a great honor and a pleasure for OPB. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of it.
Thank you, Emily. Delight, I don't know, we're going to do something that's going to raise the spirits. Not that, we haven't raised the spirits already, but this gospel jazz group have been in Portland for quite a while, and they have really succeeded in making gospel jazz not only a tremendous musical genre, but also one that sort of gives you a sense of purpose. And they've been together for about 8 years, and we're so lucky to have them because they're always traveling. And E.J. Mondani and Belief are here with us. So Kyle, if you're ready, let's go. E.J. Mondani and Belief.
This is such an appropriate song. I'm going to ask you to stand to your feet. Brother Johnson wrote this song in honor of Abraham Lincoln on his birthday. And it's so appropriate that we've claimed it as the national anthem for the African American people. But as we're understanding, it's not just a national anthem for American people, and we don't have but one anthem, the national anthem. But now this is a national anthem for all people as we sing it in tribute to Dr. King. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let I rejoice, sing, rise, the sleep skies, let it resound loud as the roar. Ring sea, stony the roads we trod, stony the roads we trod, bitter the chest, lean rod, felt in the days when all unborn hope had died, yet with a steady beat and not a repeat, come to the place where I found their side. We have to sing a song. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has brought us, has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory. Let us march on till victory. Let us march on till victory is won. Amen. Yeah. I'd like to introduce you to Believe. Whew. That's a tough one to do. Yeah. It's good to have you with us, Dr. Young. Hear ye all that have been wronged. Time to tell your story and know you're not alone. Brother, it's time to tell your tale, remembering the vices that remained a one-room share. Sister, it's time that you get well. Romance has left you empty, leaving you a hollow shell. Speak to that problem, meet them face to face. Back them in the corner where you know there's no escape. Wherever I am, I know you're there with me. There's no mountain that's so high, preventing me from being free. Wherever you are, there's a place for you. If you listen to the truth, only revealed to you. People know you have the power, mastering the forces and perceptions tried by fire. Martyrs, it's time to be remissed, remembered for the services that everyone dismissed. Sinner, you, time to pay the price. giving up the darkness that prevented you from light. Nations up to the call, proving that the promises we will not suffer loss. Wherever you are, there's a place for you if you listen to the voice revealed only to you. Wherever you are, I know you're there with me. There's no